won. They should have beat Buffalo. They was in command of that whole game until Josh Allen put his Superman cape on, like he always does, and
Right.
win that game. So I think that maybe they feel. I agree with you. I think that any game that's over 10, I always say over 8 in the NFL. Well, I try to stay away from those games because like you said, teams play from. I don't care if you right now the Miami Dolphins or the Saints, man. You're gonna play with some pride, and you
Well, the
not.
Dolphins in the same situation. They got the Patriots coming there this weekend, and it's supposed to be rain tomorrow.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, even though I picked the Patriots to win that game, I still think that's a very sketchy game because it's a divisional game, and both teams are still. Well, the Pats are ahead of them. They're
yeah.
ahead of the Miami Dolphins, I think, right now. I think
Of
the
course,
Dolphins are they're trending towards the number one overall pick,
I
low
think that
key.
how long you figure, how long does it take? Does Mike McDaniel last the season as coach?
This season?
Yeah,
Nah.
no,
Nah,
I,
I
I
don't.
think I think he'll be gone before Thanksgiving. I think before halfway mark of the season, I think the Dolphins he'll be fired. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll be the first coach to get axed this year. Not that I take glee in it. I'm just saying, just because of
Of
the,
course not.
what I'm saying, just because of the franchise situation. But as we start off this show this Saturday, man. First of all, man, how are you, man? You all right? You good?
I'm great, man.
You good? Okay.
You alluded to this before we started the video. I'm just glad to talk some football.
Yeah.
There's been a whole lot of divisive nonsense
Yeah.
being spewed all over social media, being spewed in break rooms at jobs, and it's just good to get back to discussing
Yeah.
some actual football. So
Just
and
talk
we
some
got a
football.
we got our own toxicity in this game right here.
Right, yeah, this the messy drama that you want, man. This got all the storylines. Walt, we talked about it in pre show, man. First of all, it's baloney that both teams are kind of playing this. The media's playing up this matchup card. I think that's total, just media talk. Hyperbole. I think that but both of these coaches want to beat each other. Let's make no mistake about it. It's been some little bit of trash talking during the off season about the plays, and Jameer Gibbs saying, like they didn't, basically saying they didn't run the plays like we can run them, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't us. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Trey Finesse? What up, though? And I really love this matchup. I really do, man. I think that this is the Lions team that we're gonna learn a lot about this team, man. A lot. What's up, Bobby Drake? What up, though, fellas? We're gonna learn a lot about this team, man. To me personally, I mean, we're not gonna get in predictions yet. We can just kind of talk about the game right now. But I think the Lions gonna be it's gonna be a desperate Lions team. I do think this is a Jameson Williams game all the way. It looks like Brent was happening. I think that uh, you know we talked about this, man. Throw the X's and O's out. Okay. I know last week schematically it didn't look good. Offensive line was horrible. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even got to revisit that road again. We on the week 2. But what I'm saying is the Lions have enough players on their team. Okay. Both sides of the ball. Defense, I'm not worried about at all. I mean, I think the defense is going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I think if the offense is what's going to unlock this thing, and I think I can foresee Jameson Williams just having a monster guy. I think Jalen Johnson is going to play for the Bears. I didn't hear much about Kyler Gordon. If somebody in the comments knows of Kyler Gordon, the other corner is going to play for the Bears, let me know. And I know the one kid that had the pick 6 for the Bears on Monday Night Football who was playing third string, had a pick 6. I think he's not playing. So the Bears are kind of banged up in the secondary. I just think Jameson Williams is too talented for you not to get him the ball and for him to just put this game on its head to this Sunday, man. That's how I feel about it. Until we figure out on offense, the players, you said it. The when you got players like when we had Calvin Johnson, that was a great point by you during the pre-show. It didn't matter what the X's and O's was. Well, it really didn't. on off. You know what I'm saying? Just get 81 the ball. And right now, I think when you in a pinch like we are, until we figure it out with our offensive coordinator situation, give it to number one, man. You know what I'm saying? If you have to put him in motion, run an RPO to give him move, let's do a pick play like the Packers did last week and sprung Jaden Reed open. It's a lot of things this team can do offensively, man. So that, I mean, I'll let you take it away to start off, but I just think that we're going to see a much better offensive game plan. I think Jared Goff is primed to have a good game, man. And then we've seen this the last two times we've seen this team play, they lost, man. You know what I'm saying? And they haven't lost two games under Dan Campbell. I think I seen it was since 2022 or 2023 or something like that, Walt. So it's going to be very interesting. I think it's the stakes are going to be high in this game, man, tomorrow. So
No, I agree. I think that when schematically things are thrown off, timing is thrown off, you're replacing your offensive coordinator. There's new verbiage, there's new lingo. Guys have new sets of expectations, and I don't care how close a new existing offensive coordinator may be to what the old offensive coordinator did, and vice versa. Even same thing with the defense.
yeah,
This guy is still his own man. He's still calling his own game, and when things aren't going perfectly, this is why you have dudes on the team. You know, we talked about in the pre-show about how um, there was no schematics for Randy Moss. It was get Randy Moss to football. There was no schematics for Calvin Johnson. It was get Calvin Johnson to football. When Jameson Williams was in college, and I understand that he's in the NFL now and things are going to be different from time to time, but he has that type of dude, type of talent. When he was at Alabama, there was no schematics from Nick Saban. It was Bryce, you get him the ball. You drop back, you throw that football as far as you can get it. They need to be able to generate some easy points. And I think offensively it's easier to figure out ways to scheme up easier points. Not so many 14, 15, 16 play drives, but you need some layups from time to time when the offense isn't scoring, or you're going to need the defense to create some turnovers and give you some short fields and create some extra possessions. Because the way things happen week one against Green Bay, like that can't be the way things run. But from here on out. So personally, man, I'm gonna say this.
Thanks, Brent, for that. October 2022.
Yep. I think it comes back to emotions.
Yeah.
We can expect on our behalf, you know, at Ford Field in that
Oh,
building, Lions fans' emotions,
be nuts.
regardless of what the players may say, that's BS. They're competitive
They want to
juggernauts.
win. They want to
And
win.
they always, that's how you get that chip on your shoulder. You keep a chip on your shoulder by feeling like everybody always slighted you. And they feel like Ben Johnson slighted them. And Ben Johnson said some funny things. And they said some funny things also over the summer, and it's all leading up to this game here. But if you're the Lions, man, you have to make sure that first quarter, because the first quarter gonna be bananas. Keep your emotions in check.
Yeah.
Chicago committed 12 penalties for 127 yards last week. They had their issues. We really don't know what to make of that. You know, maybe it was week one issues they had as far as timing and things with Minnesota, but still, they committed 12 penalties for 127 yards. But the chippiness on the field, you already know, like you said, Lions players want to win one for Dan Campbell, you know for sure. Bears players, if they like Ben Johnson, we don't know yet, but if they like him, you can bet they want to win it for him. And this is a divisional game. It's a rivalry game. We already know how these Bears Lions games get. The Packers Lions games can get some type of way. But it seems like there's a difference with Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago, Detroit. Maybe it has more to do with the cities being so close to each other. I don't know. But I'm not so sure, and we're gonna get to the prediction a little later on in the show. I think you and I both have the Lions winning that game. I don't have them covering that 4.5. I don't think the game is going to be as high scoring as you think or a lot of other people think. I could see the defense, not the defense, but I could see the offense having another week where they're struggling. They're kind of sputtering a little bit because the Bears defense isn't bad. Also, offensively, they did manage to rush for over 127 yards on Minnesota. And you can make the argument right now that on the interior of the defensive line, Minnesota may be just a little bit ahead of us. But like I said, after week 1, you got to kind of take those stats for everybody and throw them out the window because you have no track record to really base it on. By week 4, week 5, week 6, I think is when we begin to see tendencies out of teams. And you can kind of see then, okay, this is what they really want to be. Week 1 was an anomaly. That's not what things are really going to be for this particular team. But
Yeah.
let's talk. I want to talk Caleb for a second, man, because I went back and I watched the all 22 of that game.
Yeah.
There's some concerns I have about him. And this isn't as a Lions fan, it's just as a football fan and an evaluator in general. Big issue I see from Caleb is that he's a late decision maker. I also think that his delivery is way too long. He telegraphs a lot of his throws. He's the exact opposite of what Jared Goff is. Like, he has all the physical tools. Like, when Caleb gets the opportunity to have a broken pocket, and it's like he almost relishes having a broken pocket.
Yeah.
So he can get out and run around and move around and get to the sidelines. He throws darts. The arm strength, the talent, the mobility, everything is fine. But like I said, in the NFL, if you don't have tempo, you don't have pace, you can't consistently throw with anticipation, because he has guys running wide open consistently that he misses. He missed Rome Odunze on at least 3 or 4 throws the other night that I'm like, when I went back and watched the film, like, bro, like, you got to be on time.
Yeah.
That's a timing throw. That's a throw Jared Goff would have completed. And the way he plays, he's bound to get receivers killed. He's bound to get himself hurt. I'm interested to see how the rest of this season unfolds between him and Ben Johnson, because even if you're the number 1 overall pick and you're dubbed as a can't miss prospect, you only get so many opportunities to get multiple quarterback coaches or head coaches fired. Because the question then becomes, if he doesn't have a good season this year, what happens next season? Do they bring in a veteran backup to kind of push him a little bit and challenge him? Because they just invested a lot of money in Ben Johnson. In my personal take, Caleb would be gone before Ben Johnson would be gone, if it came down to it, ultimately. Because they, in the NFL, man, they don't hold on to these quarterbacks for as long as they used to.
No,
they don't give they're not going to give you as a young quarterback 4 years to stink, or not even stink, but 4 years to quote unquote figure things out. So with 17 after 18 games of watching Caleb Williams, what have you really noticed with him?
I do think, I think that right now they've surrounded him with the personnel that he needs. I think last year, DJ Moore is a damn good veteran receiver, a guy who can spring open, find a soft spot. He's their version of St. Brown that we have, what I'm saying, for them. I always like Rome Odunze. I think that combination hasn't sprouted like I thought it would. I thought that they would really be on to it. Seems like they're not even on the same page right now. So what they do, they drafted Colston Loveland to go Cole Kmet. They got DeAndre Swift, who's been decent, what I'm saying, catching the ball out of the backfield. And what your analysis of him has been on point, man. You know what I'm saying? I kind of thought the same thing. I think if he completes that pass, I think the DJ Moore in the 4th quarter, even when the Vikings was making a run, I think that was a wide open touchdown. I think the Bears still win that game, no matter what the Vikings did. You know what I'm saying? But he totally just overthrew him. Now, it's a bit of nerves that kick in, but right now for him, I don't think nerves – that's out the window. Like you say, 18 starts, man. You know what I'm saying? Those passes you should be able to make, with no one around you, not even a hand in his face, like you said, because he rolls out of the pocket. So he's not patient enough yet. I think that part of it, because he didn't trust that offensive line last year. I think it does have to be a little bit of trust with him, trust the guys that's in front of him to make those throws, you know what I mean? And so it won't be so rushed. It won't be so, remember, Ben Johnson's offense has got to be precision timing. It's that ball's got to come out when it's supposed to come out at the spot it's supposed to come out at. And I think that he's got to learn. As far as him not being there and Ben Johnson, I mean, I agree with that notion, because 2 or 3 years, man, you get as a quarterback in this league, and the organizations will move on from you. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that lately. The last 10 years. It's not been so crippling if you don't pick a number one pick and he doesn't work out at quarterback. You can just move on, get a new
Well,
guy.
go
You know,
back all we gotta do is go back 4 years. Look at that quarterback class.
yeah,
The only guy who's still with the team that drafted him was Trevor Lawrence, and he's on thin ice. Justin Fields is on his third team. Mac Jones, his third team.
yeah,
Kellen Mond, if I'm not mistaken, Kellen Mond may be out of the league.
yeah,
Trey
yeah.
Lance is on his
Trey
third
Lance.
team.
Yep, I forgot about Trey
Yeah,
Lance. Yep.
so and
Corey, what's up, Corey?
remember we were told that was allegedly an all-time great quarterback class.
Yeah. Yep. Kellen Mond was even with the Vikings wound up. They
Yeah,
drafted him originally, right? Texas A&M,
yeah,
I think. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's a good point by you to just even bring that up. Because I think Caleb Williams again is patience. I'm just saying on the Chicago side of it, you're gonna have to have patience with Caleb Williams, man. Now it's I think his development's his story, his journey is gonna be written by the end of this season, man. Let's just say another 6-11 season or 5-12, I think whatever they were last year. If you don't improve somewhat, I think Bears fans got playoffs on the mind or possibly winning the division. So I think anything less than playoffs, at least a wild card spot, will be very disappointing in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of pressure, man. Do I think Caleb can play? Asking me right now, I think he can. I think Caleb can play, but sometimes knowing how to play don't register on the field, man. You know what I'm saying? You can have all the talent in the world, but like you said, if you're getting offensive coordinators fired, if you're getting coaches fired, if play rumblings that that the communication isn't there with the offensive line and the receivers, then maybe that finger you pointing out at everybody else gonna come pointing back at you. You know what I mean? And
right.
you're the quarterback, man. You are the face of the franchise, number one pick, man. So obviously, to whom much is given, much is required, and you can't pick and choose when you want to put Caleb in and say, oh well, look what he did here. Look at this great throw. Look at this great throw on the run. Look at this, but y'all still lost the game. You know what I'm saying? You made a couple, 2 or 3 good throws, but yet and still the Bears still lost. So that's how I felt Monday. I felt JJ McCarthy to go in there and win that game the way he did to outdo Caleb. It was eye opening. It was because JJ didn't have a great game, but when it mattered, and Caleb Williams looked like you said, physical tools, just be able to throw the ball at a high level. He's a better physical quarterback than JJ McCarthy, but JJ McCarthy won the game, man. You know what I'm saying? So you can throw all of those great
I
after.
don't know. Like JJ got some tools, man. And I mean,
No, he
have
does. He
we were able
does.
to see JJ. JJ can run. He can improvise. JJ got a little bit of gunslinger in him. It was good to see him make those throws down the stretch, and I felt like the difference.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily pulling for Caleb. Even though I do support, saying all these young quarterbacks, he plays for the Bears. I like JJ McCarthy. I've liked JJ since high school. Matter of fact, it just I hope that the performance he turned in Monday night lets people know that okay, this kid does have some ability.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah. He
yeah,
shut all that
it's
up. He
not
shut.
just this notion that he never threw at Michigan and everything. I keep saying people forget that coming out of high school, JJ was considered one of those guys. He was a 4 or 5 star by all depending on which publication you chose to follow at that time.
Yeah.
He could have been at LSU. He
Yeah.
could have been at Florida. He could have been at any of those schools, but he stayed home and played for Michigan in a pro style offense under Jim Harbaugh, who predicates everything off of run, quarterback. You make the plays on third down, whether it's the 3rd and 17, it's the 3rd and 12.
Yeah.
If it's the 3rd and 10, get
Yeah.
out there and pick things. Look at Justin Herbert last week and how
Yeah.
he looked under Jim
Yeah.
Harbaugh. Like that's what he likes to do. And it was interesting for me to see that fourth quarter. He made the plays that you would have expected Caleb Williams to be making in year two. Caleb was
Yeah.
out there still missing
Still
throws,
fumbling
missing
around.
reads,
Yep.
and JJ out there. It seemed to me like the offense was kind of stiff. People forget too, this was JJ's first career start. So and it's
That's
on the road
impressive.
against a pretty good defense, against a pretty good front four, front seven for that matter. Second half, he seemed to settle in a little bit. He started to sling the ball around a little bit more with a little more confidence.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I like the fact that they voted him and put the C on his
But
chest.
to see, I was just gonna say that.
You
That's what
know,
I love
and
about it. I
I
love
like the
that.
way he
Yep.
carried himself in the locker room and everything.
Yes.
I'm a Michigan fan. I'm a Michigan State fan. I'm a fan of all these guys once they get to the NFL. Now when Minnesota plays Detroit, it's screw JJ. But but I was like I said, I was impressed that as a rookie in his first career start on the road, he made the plays in the fourth quarter that you think Caleb should have been making. So to
Yes.
me, that was what was kind of troubling to me about Caleb Williams. But let's jump over real quick to the defense, man.
Yeah. Donkey Kong. What's up, man?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on the defense real quick because they did give up over 100 yards to Minnesota on the ground, which was it was a couple big runs, but Minnesota should be a team that struggles. I feel from a personnel standpoint, being able to run the ball, but you're talking about a team that has Montez Sweat at one edge rush position. You got Dayo Odeyingbo at the other, and Grady Jarrett, who's a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
But Javon Dexter,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, he would have
he
monster game, man.
yes,
Sunday. I mean Monday. Yeah.
third year play, third year. I think it's third year player because they drafted him and they drafted another nose tackle. I forgot his name in that same class, but he came out of Florida. A guy who was a nose tackle at Florida. No. Don't no wrong one. Javon Dexter wasn't from Florida. Javon
I
Dexter,
want
if
to
I'm
see
not
was it Florida State?
no, it wasn't even Florida State. If I'm not mistaken, Javon, what school was Javon Dexter? Because I don't want to misquote myself. But the year that they took Dexter was the same year that they took another defensive tackle that same year. So they doubled down on those. But Javon Dexter, I will say this.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida. Okay, I
Mhm.
was right.
Yeah.
Dexter's got his health together. He got his weight under control. And him next to Montez Sweat, next to a veteran like Grady Jarrett. You and I both like TJ Edwards. I think they've got the recipe, I believe, as far as front seven wise, to potentially give our offensive line more problems. And that's another reason why I'm leaning towards the under on that over under, as well as if you're gonna bet on this game, if you're trying to make the money, because it's still a divisional game. There is no gimme money in this. Detroit could very well lose this game. It's not that far fetched that they could.
Right.
But I do think they're better than Chicago. I just feel that this early in the season, both teams are still kind of filling things out. It's another divisional game. Both teams are backing up week one losses to divisional opponents to have to play another divisional opponent. And I just think that it's going to be so tight in there early. Nobody's going to want to make mistakes, but everybody's going to be playing fast and physical. I could easily see a 21-20 type of game. I could see 21-17. I could see 22-20 for that matter. But just for the Bears' perspective, if you're talking about what they need to do, because we're going to talk about the game from both teams' perspectives. I think if you're Chicago, you're looking at what Green Bay did against us. Now, they don't have the personnel within the linebacker room to do what Green Bay did. So that's the massive difference. But the Bears may be better at the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball than Green Bay is. So how do you feel from Detroit's perspective on the interior of the offensive line? Because we have no idea what it's going to look like now in week 2. But they're not getting any breaks against Dexter and Jared and them boys.
Yeah.
What do you think we honestly need to do offensively along that line? Because this is also a 4-3 defense we're going up against. So you're not going to be able to double team as much on that 4-3 defensive line. You're not going to be able to run as much duo as you may want to like, because Chicago on the defensive line, they like to play things kind of tight.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should do in order to really attack Chicago this week?
Yeah, good question, man. Good question.
What's up, Mason?
Yeah, what's
Welcome
up,
these
Mason?
Bears fans are here too. Love to have y'all in.
Yeah, what's up, Mason? Yep, it's gonna be a great game tomorrow, I think. I think that listen, Dave Montgomery's obsolete. Okay. I told my friend Yes, until I say that until we get the offensive interior line, Dave Montgomery's obsolete, man. So
because
okay,
he can't create his own
he
shot
can't create his
for
own shot.
NBA references.
Yep. So that's number one. Until we able to incorporate him in our offense, I think that I said this at the pre-show. I said it at the start of the show. This is Jameson Williams' game. I got an asterisk by his name. The reason why I say that is ball's got to come out. I'm doing a lot of, I don't even, the golf is not even a three step drop guy. I think he just, he's a full, he dropped back, deliver the ball. Ball's got to be on time. What I'm saying is I think Laporta, Jameson Williams, Gibbs to an extent. I like the way the first series against Green Bay, I like the thought. I'm not gonna say I like the way they played because we got dominated last Sunday. But what I'm saying is I like the edges where you try to get to the edge with your speed. I see what they're trying to do, but it just they blew it up. Green Bay blew up, so it didn't look good. But what I'm saying is you got to use your speed, man, until you figure out what the heck we doing on offense. You got to throw the ball first. You know what I'm saying? Forget trying to run the ball. It's just my opinion. I think that the way the Lions are going to turn this into a track meet, I think that's what we need to do. I really do think we need to turn this game into a track meet because we're not physical enough right now. We don't have it working offensively. I think, like, again, defensively going to be fine. I think if we bait Caleb Williams then to try and Ben Johnson to throw the ball like us, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if they're going to be patient enough to keep trying to run the ball, especially if they can't run. And if it's a game where it's a shootout type game, I think, and then we pick our spots and we try to run Gibbs in between those long or intermediate throws. I think Caleb Williams is more prone to make a mistake than Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when it comes down to it, Caleb may throw the big interception. You know what I'm saying? In a critical time in the fourth quarter. This game probably will come down in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? I have listen. I'm just telling you what my gut's telling me. What I think is going to happen. I have no idea how the offensive line is going to perform. You know what I mean? That's a wild card in this whole thing. Now Taylor Decker's banged up still. You know what I'm saying? I know Dan Campbell did yesterday. Said Deck wants to play. We'll see. He's questionable. I mean, we would all have to agree that Decker's been a warrior, man, and he's really got to be hurt for him not to play. So he's not he's not 100%. You already got the Graham Glasgow, Ratledge, and Mahogany trio situation right there. Just experience and communication can probably fix that. We know Penei Sewell didn't play well the last week either. So I do think the offensive line got probably a chip on his shoulder. I know Penei Sewell is a guy that he's gonna play better. You know what I'm saying? That was probably the worst game I ever seen him play. You know what I'm saying? As far as this team goes. So I'm looking for fireworks. I don't think it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be just throw the ball for success for the Lions, to answer your question, Walt. So because I don't think the in-between tackle game I don't think we can run it yet. I don't think we're not physical. Maybe the end of the season, towards the end of the season, we might be able to do it once we get.
And that right there is the problem for us. And for Bears fans who listening, we talk about our issues. We don't just talk about the opponent's issues. We give the opponents credit. We give our team credit. But how do you really expect to have a consistent run game if you can't do a damn thing between the tackles? And that's the problem. Like, Taylor Decker is a shell of him old self. Like, let's get that clear. Taylor was never really a run blocking left tackle or right tackle for that matter. He's an athletic pass blocking tackle. That's what you drafted him to be when the last regime was here. Penei Sewell is the do it all world tackle.
Yeah.
But he's on the right side. It's best to anchor the run game behind him, but he also needs a running mate at right guard to help him out of them situations. But I didn't see anything to Brent DeWitt's comment. I didn't see anything offensive line wise, scheme wise, in regards to like what we saw last year. And this is a completely different man. But Hank Fraley is the constant. Hank is still there. Hank is not only in charge of the offensive line, he's also in charge of the running game this year. So that's why another reason why I have a good a good feeling that they will eventually figure it out. We also believe Tate Radlich will eventually pick things up. Miles Frazier, late round pick, he should be ready to go sometime, maybe the second or third week of November, maybe earlier, hopefully. But once teams know you don't want to run the ball up the middle and you can't run the ball up the middle, only other options you have are outside zone, maybe inside zone, right to the B gap, little misdirection, little trap. But if none of that's gonna work and teams figure you out that you only want to bounce
Yeah.
everything outside, they're gonna shut it down. That's how you end up with 19 touches for 50 yards. Like that's how it happens. So they have to figure
Vertically.
out a way to generate a rushing attack up the middle of the
No, and then
offensive
what? And
line.
you're absolutely right. And that's a good question too by Corey Patterson. I do think it is a statement game. I do. I think that as much as we said it before. I don't know if you heard it, but I think that as much as the players try to deflect it, like I know Kelvin Shepard did say, that's for the media to play it up. The Ben Johnson versus the Lions thing, but these guys want to win, man. They want to beat each other. And I think that, let's just say if we lose the game, I don't think the season's over, but man, you're making it difficult. You're going to be 0-2. Yeah,
Damn
because
near.
you're going to be 2
I
games
just
down in the
listen.
division, and you're going to be last place. And then, 0-2 is not what you want to start with 2 division losses. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, yeah, you can make coming, but you're going to have the Green Bay's got the tiebreaker already until we play again. Then you're gonna put yourself in a situation where what if this team win? You got what if scenarios instead of controlling your own destiny. That's what every team wants at the end of the season. So it's a huge game, man. I mean, for me, like you said, Walt, it's like the only reason why I'm going the vertical route is because I think if you get Jameson win, that's why he's got to pop, man, and score and get in the end zone quick. I think because then I think the whole game plan is going to change for the Bears. Maybe they may not be so aggressive, and then that may open up some running lanes. That's what broken two. Yeah, there you go. He
Hit this
already.
man. Hit this man go for another year of this, man.
Yeah, I know.
Another year. Walt said put 400 on the under. Walt said no such thing. No such thing. But listen, I just feel I'm gonna say this too to piggyback off what you were just saying. When you have a guy with that type of speed, that type of game changing speed, there's no way you're gonna scheme him out of my game.
Right.
When you have him on your team, Detroit should be going into every game saying, yeah, y'all may have plans for this and that, but we got plans to get him the ball.
Get our
Consistently.
guy.
It shouldn't happen.
That's
It
right.
shouldn't happen at all. And it all depends on how you view what's going to open up the offense. You could say, given I personally listen between phase, deep posts, deep digs. Those are 3 ways that I'm going to utilize Jameson Williams in every game. And between those 3 routes, I'm going to get him at least 9 to 11 targets out of just those 3 routes alone. That's not even counting a screen here, a quick screen here, a end around here and there, a quick slant here, every now and then. There's no reason, and we all go back to Alabama. Whenever I get depressed about JMO's utilage, I go back to Alabama. And I watch Alabama highlights and I say, why in the hell isn't that going on here? You saw constant highlight after highlight of Jameson Williams outrunning double coverages at Georgia. At Alabama. Getting behind free safeties who were already 50 yards off the line of scrimmage. Like, he's a difference maker. And not only that, even if it's not necessarily, okay, we calling your number for this particular play and now we need you to go make a play. Even if it's 3 incompletions, it still forces the defense to understand that we got to respect this because they willing to do it. Green Bay disrespected our playbook last week. You know how they played us last week? Yeah, we know y'all got JMO out there. Y'all ain't gonna throw him the damn ball. So what do it matter? We dare y'all to do it. We're gonna stack the box.
Yeah.
We're gonna run different stunts with Michael Parsons and Edgerrin Cooper, and we dare y'all to hold on to the ball and get him the
Boy,
football.
I mean, like I said, that's a whole
And
that's a
that's
whole
embarrassing.
nother animal, man. The Packers defense, whole nother animal. They blew up everything, man. Everything I think they was trying to do, they blew it up. And yeah, it's a good question about Walt Dollar, but I just want to say this before I answer that. And now I wouldn't be trying to throw it to JMO at the 20-yard line of our own 20-yard line, like deep, because I know that's not Jared Goff. That's not how he. The game plan's got to be well versed to Jared Goff's skill set, and I think that he's the guy. Like once you get to the 50-yard line, I think then you can unlock some things, with Jameson Winston it could be special. You know what I'm saying? Like if we in our own territory, I think that, that's where, you maybe try to get Gibbs 8-10 yards. You try to get Laporta 8-10 yards. St. Brown's going to get his and he'll get 8-10 yards. Then you strike. Then you strike with Jameson Williams. So for me, it's got to be the pass. It's got to set up the run this week, in my opinion. That's how I feel it's got to go. You know what I mean? Because remember last year, dude, we would run the ball on 3rd and 8 and get it. You know what I'm saying? It was no problem for us to get 8 yards on 3rd down and run the ball and it'd be all good. Now, man, we've been living off that for 2 years. So now it's unexpected. So now everybody like, oh, what are we supposed to do now? You know what I'm saying? To make this thing work. And I think that's what's got to happen. You know what I'm saying? Now, the flip side of it, we know Jared Goff is not the 50 attempts guy. You know what I'm saying? Normally, bad things happen if Goff starts to throw the ball 50 times. Remember the Seattle game last year, the last 2 years. Remember the Philly game 2 years ago. What was it, 43-35 or something like that? Those 2 games where Goff played well. He really did in both those shootout games, get Geno Smith, Jalen hurt. But ultimately, I think you get happy feet. You start to get a little bit too antsy. So I think that it's a happy medium. I say all that to say I want to see us throw the ball. I really do this week. I think that's the recipe for a win. But you do have to play the percentages, man. You really do, and have to try to balance it out the best you can. That's John Morton's job. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's the offensive coordinator, to figure out, when it's the opportune time to run what in his system. It's gonna be interesting, man. See how it turn out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Walt Dollar. See what you done started. And Corey followed up with this. Listen, I'm gonna say this, man. I personally believe it is. Ashanti, I know you agree. You believe it's a make or break year for him. Now, does the organization view it as that? Probably not. We honestly don't know. But I just feel like they need somebody who can make something out of nothing. The talent level in the NFL on the defensive line right now is too excessively high for you to have a quarterback that can't make things happen off script. A guy that can't maneuver in the pocket, manipulate the pocket well enough. Having a sit and duck in the pocket in this day and age in the NFL is pretty much putting a ceiling on your potential as an organization. Now, for Michigan fans, Detroit Lions fans who watched the Michigan game last week, I'm just going to throw a name out there. That type of player, who knows where he's going to ultimately end up, quarterback ranking wise, over the next 4 or 5 months or such. But if you look at how John Mateer plays, John Mateer has his flaws, but he's a gunslinger. He's got a live arm. There was one play where Michigan had him dead to rights in the pocket. He rolled outside. He's strong as hell too. And the wide receiver ran, if I'm not mistaken, he ran a deep out. Well, he was running. No, the receiver was actually on schedule to run a deep end, but Mateer rolled to the right. And when he rolled to the right, the receiver broke his route off and head to the sidelines. Mateer threw that ball, and when he threw that ball, whoever was whether it was Herb Street or whatever, the first thing they said was that was a no, yes type of throw. That was a situation where there was 2 Michigan corners over there, and he fired that ball right where only his receiver could get it. There was no completion there. This is what we talk about constantly about when there's no completion as a quarterback to be had, do you create a completion out of it? Stafford had the arm talent to create completions. Guys like Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. When there's no completion to be had, do you have the talent to find one for us? That type of skill set, a guy who can get out there and scoot a little bit. Now, in theory, are you going to find the perfect guy? No. Sometimes you end up with the Anthony Richardson. Sometimes you end up with these guys who are just excessively heavy on the tool side of it, but lack a lot as far as the nuances of playing quarterback in the NFL. But I mean, I've been crying for years to get a mobile quarterback, bro. I've been crying for that for years, man, because your offense has a ceiling on it if your quarterback can't freaking move. And I don't get why people don't understand that. You know, Josh Allen, now I get it, he's a mutant. Lamar Jackson is a mutant. Patrick Mahomes, those guys are different. But I need you to at least be a threat on
Caleb
third
Williams
and
is, he's a guy that can get a first down when you need it. You know, that's why I like what JJ did was so special because he, like I said, he physically, he didn't have, like you said, well, he didn't have the 31 out of, 28 for 31, 345, but he had the 3 game-winning plays in that game, man. And
yeah.
JJ McCarthy looks like a kid that used to be on your paper route delivering papers. You know what I'm saying? But man, he's got everything you want as being able to move, the competitive spirit as a rookie quarterback. Man, and yeah, just with Trey, I was just gonna say John Mateer reminds me of Baker Mayfield. He does, man. You know, and I like him too. I told you last week I like John Mateer off the bat. You know.
He's short. He's a little shorter. I think he's got a little bit more tools than Baker has. Like I said, John Mateer can run. John Mateer can squat like 500 pounds. John Mateer is an athlete, and like I said, you can see his talent. Like you can see John Mateer's arm talent too, man. We need somebody who can make some plays, man. Somebody who can actually utilize or who's willing to utilize Jameson Williams. There's quite a few quarterbacks in the league that if they had Jameson Williams would be a 13, 14 touchdown guy with that particular quarterback. So, yeah, Trey Finesse, you say, I like John Mateer. I think he fits this offense. He reminds me of Baker with more pep. I agree. I was first because I didn't watch much of John Mateer at Washington State last season. So I was able to hit the film over the offseason this past summer and watch about 4 or 5 Washington State games with John Mateer. It wouldn't surprise me if John made that move up draft boards. Another guy is a kid who played here at King High School right there in Detroit, and that's Dante Moore.
Yeah, for Oregon.
Who's over at Oregon right now. Dante Moore, man, and we talked about Dante. I've been pushing for Dante to get to a school, sit there, develop. I'm glad he's at Oregon. I like that offense at Oregon for him. And Dante may be, out of everybody we've seen this season, Dante may be the best pure arm talent, I think, out of all of them, man. So the quarterback position is going to be very interesting what happens this year. But to piggyback off what you just said, if they go 0-2, it's curtains, bro. You can't go 0-2 and you still look at the schedule down to
Baltimore next week.
A KC, you see a Baltimore, you see a KC,
Philly.
you see a Cincinnati, you see a Philadelphia, you see a Dallas. Dallas isn't going to be a pushover this year. Dallas is going to play hard. Another Green Bay, another matchup with Green Bay, 2 more matchups with Minnesota. Like you can't. We got the Rams. Like you can't afford to go 0-2, man. If they go 0-2, we might be talking about quarterbacks around week 6.
Yeah, because like you said, and that's why I was saying Dave Montgomery's obsolete. Jared Goff is kind of like a dinosaur right now because it's like what we need, like a quarterback to kind of make some plays on 3rd and long. If it's nothing downfield, if you survey the field and there's nothing there, just sometimes tucking the ball down and tucking the ball and getting a sack, that's not helping either. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, can you try to get, can you try to run for the sticks?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And get the first down instead of taking a sack. Sometimes a long drive may require you to run for a first down. You know what I'm saying? It may not be the perfect play at that time, but maybe the hole might be open enough for you to where you can get the first down. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just conceding the drive and taking a sack. That's huge in the game, man. A long drive and don't with no points, and then you take a sack
Oh yeah,
to end the drive. That's terrible. You know what I'm saying? That's worse than now. I'm not gonna say worse than a turnover, but you basically are because you punting the ball and giving it back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a whole. I don't even want to think about quarterbacks right now because we know when we start talking draft, the season's over, bro. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole
right.
yet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You know
Oh
me
yeah, for
though.
sure. I mean,
You know me though. I start
yeah,
itching
me
for the
and
draft,
I
man.
we talked about
Kind of
John
early.
Mateer last year. I mean last week. I mean already right off the bat. I don't have a list yet. Dante Moore is obviously, from UCLA. I remember, and he transferred to Oregon, local kid. So I'm gonna follow him. But yeah, yep. I see Brent saying Sellers from South Carolina. I gotta talk. Yeah, I heard somebody else mention him. I gotta, get on my quarterback game in college.
I got a lot of questions about Sellers.
Yeah,
I think Sellers, he's what, 6'3", two hundred and
yeah,
forty pounds. Cam Newton-esque type. I got to see him be more consistent in regards to playing the position
yeah.
from the pocket and better and more off as a pure passer. But he had a ton of talent, man. But as you said, we don't want to talk about
Hmm.
quarterbacks this early. But knowing me, I would pull us into that type of discussion. But before we get out of here, man, I want to shoot the 4 games
Yeah.
real quick. We're gonna hit you guys with some numbers. Broken tubing. This is your section of this is your section of the video. But New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas currently -4.5 favorites at home over the New York Giants. 47.5 is the over/under money line. New York Giants +90. Dallas
Hmm.
-30. Um, I think Dallas is this is the home opener. They played a damn good game against Philadelphia last week. I thought they played good enough to win. Those drops, as much as I hate blaming one player for a loss in football, those drops by CeeDee Lamb, I feel is what cost Dallas that game. Dallas is angry. The New York Giants, they're going to be calling for Jackson
Yeah.
Dart real soon. Your boy Russell Wilson is a sitting
Hmm.
duck in the pocket. We talking about making money. I don't bet, but if I did, I would definitely take Dallas to
Hmm.
win outright. They will be covering that 4.5. You gonna let these people know exactly how they can make money off these money lines down at the bottom. And what do
Yeah,
you think of this
I
game?
totally agree with you. I think Dallas is way. I think sometimes you know you can add by subtraction. Okay, and the Micah Parsons thing, we know Micah Parsons is a good football player, stuff like that. We ain't got to talk about that, but I think it may be better for Dallas coming down like for this season, moving forward when the elephant in the room is gone and a situation is addressed, you'll be surprised. You know what I mean? Obviously, we know they lack talent. I think talent on offense, they kind of need another guy, but it's going to be interesting to see what George Pickens does. You know what I'm saying? I really do think he's a malcontent, but that's a really good pickup for them offensively. I think they're going to have to outscore people to kind of win. Defense ain't too bad, though. The defense kind of I've always liked Martavius Overshown. I've liked him, since he got over the injury situation. Getting Clenny Clark, we've seen right away how that impacted their team. I think the Russell Wilson experience, I think I give it another month, and it may not even last. John Day, what's his name? Brian Dayball. Listen, he getting fired too. You know what I'm saying? He's not. You pick Russell Wilson and I think Russell Wilson over
Yeah,
Jackson Dart to me was the wrong move in my opinion. I know a rookie, a veteran head coach usually takes a veteran quarterback because they're like, hell, I ain't getting fired because I got a rookie quarterback. But man, I think he might be the best option out of the two, to be honest with you. So we know the loyalty thing there, usually with veteran coaches and rookies. So I agree with you. I think Dallas gonna cover the 4.5 big time. The money line, most of it looks like you can win the money. If the Giants win, you can win the most money. Obviously that's how the money line works, the plus 190 as opposed to the 230. So it's more money on Dallas, but you can make money if the Giants win, basically. So if you feel froggy, go ahead and you think that Russell Wilson gonna have a resurgence and win that game outright, you can make something off of it. Over and under 47.5. I think I would take the under on that one. I don't think the Giants are potent enough. I think Malik Neighbors, as much as he wanted to choke Brian Daboll last week on the sideline, he might want to choke Russell Wilson this week. So I feel bad for Malik Neighbors. He's way too talented, just like Garrett Wilson. Dude, those two guys are like on the wrong teams right now. They don't have the right quarterbacks. Jackson Dart, I think, can throw the ball. I think he is some talent there, but you won't see that till the end of the season. Give me Dallas all day.
All right, Buffalo Bills coming off a big time big time Sunday night thriller win over the Baltimore Ravens. All world quarterback Josh Allen going up against the New York Jets. Now, historically, he's had some shaky games against the New York Jets, but to me, as great as Josh has been since his rookie year, because he had some struggles his rookie year, they lost it. He did lead them to the playoffs though, and they lost out in the wild card round at the Houston Texans. But Josh has steadily gotten better every season. Um, Fidel and I talked about this on This Week in Pro Football last night. Is Josh Allen the best player in the NFL? I personally think he is. I get it. Patrick Mahomes has more jewelry, but since Tyreek Hill left Kansas City, we haven't seen that same Patrick Mahomes. So if you give it to Patrick Mahomes, you're giving it off of winning and winning alone. If you're talking about a guy, and Dan Campbell, I remember when Buffalo came here 2 years ago and beat us. It was a close game, but he dominated our defense. And Dan Campbell was glowing over Josh Allen. And the first thing he said about Josh in the presser after the game was he referred to him as a hammer. And that's what Josh is. Like, he's the guy that walks out there, and for lack of a better comparison, a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan, a guy who walks out there on the court and just looks different on the field and looks different. There's nothing you can really do to stop Josh Allen. He's too big. He's too strong. He's willing to run the football. He's willing to run you over. He can pick up a 3rd and 18 with his legs. There's not a single blade of grass out there that he can't reach, that he can't threaten with that arm talent. And if you give him a consistent big-time target, a taller target, which it looks like Keon Coleman may be starting to come into his own, it's going to be curtains for people, man. But back to the pick. Buffalo at New York Jets, man. We looking at Buffalo -6.5. I think the Jets playing as well as they did last week was no fluke on both sides of the football. Ed Oliver, if I'm not mistaken, isn't playing for Buffalo this week. That's a divisional game. Are you tempted to take the Jets in the 6.5?
Yeah,
home,
division
man.
game.
I don't think Buffalo is going to cover the 6.5. I think it's going to be close. I think the Jets are real competitive. I think, and I've always liked Justin Fields. I've always liked him. I think that he may have a good landing spot for him finally, under Aaron Glenn, under that coaching staff. So let's see. I'm rooting for Justin Fields. He's the one guy, that like I said, since he got in the league, I just thought he's got talent, and I don't know. It just hasn't. Sometimes it takes a while. It takes years. But over and under 47.5, I do think the game is going to go over. I think it's going to be, Josh Allen, for all the reasons you said, you put his Superman cape on, man, and carried his team. I love Josh Allen. One of my favorite players in the league. He is my favorite player in the league right now. The way he's playing football right now is he's on another level, man. You know what I'm saying? He's set the bar so high. You know what I mean? The way he's playing, you just expect him, like you said, to go out there and win no matter what at this point. So Buffalo minus 298 on the money line. The Jets, obviously, that's where the play is. If you want to make some money on this game, take the Jets. I do think Buffalo going to win, but I don't think the Jets are going to lose by 6.5. I think it'll be a close field goal game, just like last week. The Jets lost by 2. I think to Pittsburgh at home. But I do like Philly, but I do think they're not going to cover the points. So, I like Buffalo, not Philly. I think that Buffalo's going to win, but the Jets going to cover that at 6.5.
Yeah, if you're the New York Jets, you already 0-1, lost to Pittsburgh, so that's an interconference loss right there. backs against the wall. You can't go 0-2 both
Yeah.
games at home. Aaron Glenn, I think his teams they played hard. I think they played hard last week against Pittsburgh. They fumbled the game, even though Aaron Rodgers played really well. He threw for 4 touchdowns, but it felt like the Jets kind of gave
Mhm.
that game away. And to give that type of game away, you start the season at home, you give that type of game away to Pittsburgh in the fashion that you did, and you follow it up with Josh Allen coming in the very next week. So, whew, I'm gonna say this about Josh. People gave him a lot of grief 2 off seasons ago about all the
Yeah.
interceptions. Once he cut down the interceptions, now what else can you say about him? And I think Josh Allen is far removed from that version of him that would go to the New York Jets after a game like he had against Baltimore and throw 5 picks against the Jets. I think that version of Josh Allen is long gone. I think he's a
Mhm.
juggernaut now. I'll take Buffalo to win that game and cover the six and a
Yeah.
half on
Oh,
the road.
okay. I feel you. I feel you.
So, all right, man. Let's go to your boys, man.
Yeah.
-1.5
It
Kansas
might as well
City
be a
at
pick 'em.
home.
That's a pick 'em game.
What do you think about that?
No,
No
Philly.
Worthy. The
No,
offensive line
Philly's
still, yeah. Well,
Philly's one
yeah,
and a half
Philly.
point favorites in that one. But it might.
They
Yeah,
are.
it's Philly 1.5.
Hold
But they
on.
this might as well be a pick 'em game. I mean, I feel like it's a coin toss at this point. But give me Philly, man. I think that regardless, I think Philly is a better team than Kansas City. I think this is gonna be the first year that we don't give Patrick Mahomes the benefit of the doubt, man. I think when the season's over, I think that we're gonna say they got to stop messing around and get him some real help, man. Xavier Worthy's nice. He's a nice piece, but he's a piece. He's not an impact receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like that. He's got speed. What I mean? He's their Jameson Williams type, but it's like he's hurt right now. I mean, and then Mahomes constantly is on the run, it seems like. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like he's running for his life a lot. Like last week, they got dominated by the Chargers, man. And I don't think a lot of people kind of, looking at KC might not be as good as they were, the last couple years, and I think them and the Lions maybe kind of on the same, obviously, heck, I can't mention the Lions because we haven't won a Super Bowl. They've won multiple Super Bowls. But what I'm saying is like this moment, this era of NFL football that we're in with the Kansas City Chiefs and Lions being good, kind of at the same time, Kansas City win championship. I think Philly right now has kicked the door open and they just gonna supplant themselves ahead of Kansas City even more. I mean, even though it's a different conference. The over and under thing, 46 and a half. I've been kind of going back and forth. I can see this game being a high scoring game. I don't know what the weather's going to be in Kansas City. Sorry, I didn't look that up, but I'm going to take Philly. I'm going to go over. I see a 28-25 game, something like that, 31-28. Philly's going to win the game. I think Philly just a better team. Now, I do love Kansas City's defense. I like Kalafdis as a baller. We both like Trent McDuffie on the edge. I like at corner. Chris Jones. That's he's just you just say Chris Jones. Everybody knows who you're talking about. So the players are still there on defense, but I think Kansas City got a bunch of issues, man, with the running game. The offensive line's not very good. I just think Patrick Mahomes is constantly on a run to me. It seems like he's got to pull something out of his bag of tricks every week just to stay afloat now, man. And I think it may take his toll on. He's already got a bum ankle. And he's just been getting banged up, man. He's been getting hit a lot. It just doesn't feel the same with Patrick Mahomes as it did in the Chiefs for the last couple years, and rightfully so. I mean, they getting the thing back together. I mean, they're an elite franchise. We all know that.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just like Philly in this spot. I think Philly is the better team. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Well,
No, I mean, well, Vegas, no, Vegas does have Kansas City at
it
minus one
is.
and a
Oh,
half.
okay, okay.
Yeah, that's mainly because it's at home. We made a big deal about the Charger win over Kansas City and how big that win was for Justin Herbert. I put an asterisk by it because it wasn't in Kansas City where you struggled against the Chiefs, and in that situation alone, not to transition this over to Justin Herbert, even though we will be talking about him and the Chargers in a second, but playing the Chiefs across the water wasn't the problem. It was beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead in the regular season and in the playoffs that became a problem for them. But I will say this about this game. The Chiefs are at home. It's the home opener. They tend to play everybody very tough there. I don't think Philly's going to go in there and just dominate them. The 1.5 KC, that's kind of neither here nor there. How you choose to bet on that? I personally wouldn't bet on this game at all unless you're talking about prop bets. I don't see any. There's no really any serious way to make any money because most people are going to put their money on Philly anyway. So you're talking about Philly having to win by more than 2 points, which is very well possible. They can win by a field goal. I will take the over in this.
Yeah.
Only because I believe the game's going to be tight and it could possibly go to overtime. So I could see, like a late 25-25 type of game where they already at 50 points. I could see a 23-23 game, something like that, heading into overtime, and then somebody kicks a field goal, which pushes it over to 46.5. But I'm taking Philly in this game, and I'm going to take Philly to cover it. Well, of course, Philly will cover that 1.5 if they win.
Yeah.
So, all right, one last game, brother. Vegas hosting the Chargers.
I love this
minus
matchup.
3.5 Chargers at Vegas. What do you think?
Yeah, I love this matchup.
I like the Chargers too. Right now, early returns. I think the Chargers are legit. I've always liked they like this team,
man. Even though I'm gonna pick against them this week, I'm taking the under only because I think Chargers defense going to slow this game down big time. So I don't know if they're going to be able to run the score up like they want to. Vegas, I mean Geno Smith, but I do like the Geno Smith factor with Pete Carroll. I like Vegas, man. For some reason, I think this team is going to surprise. I think they're going to be a fringe playoff team, man. Brock Bowers looks like a little bit banged up, I think, this week. He may not play. I know he was questionable at the beginning of the week. So the Vegas this is my money play for the week. I always try to pick one game where I think you can make some money on it. I think Vegas at plus 154, I take it. It ain't a bunch of money, on it right now, but I think it could move a little bit by the time kickoff is tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow. No, I think this game Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 2 Monday night games. I think that's the second game, if I'm not mistaken. So, I like the Chargers, but I like
the first
the Vegas
game. I think it's Tampa and Houston.
Yep. Just real quick, I just say I like Vegas in this game. I just think a division matchup. The Chargers are still a good team. I like you said, the development Justin Herbert. I think Jim Harbaugh has got his guys, man. I think that the Chargers, both sides of the ball, got tons of talent. But I just like Vegas in this spot. So,
yeah, I kind of view this as a trap game for the Chargers. Wouldn't shock me at all if they went there and lost and actually laid an egg. I'm not going to push it to that though, because I do think right now the Chargers are more talented. They've got more continuity going on with their team. Justin Herbert looked really good against Kansas City, of course, week 1. Now the Chargers do have their issues as well, but I do believe on the road, this is Vegas' second game actually. So it's I'm going to take the under on that 46.5. I know that much for sure. I'm going to take the under on that. I'm not sure if Vegas defense can keep up with the Chargers. That's my key thing right there. So I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game. Of course, they're going to cover that 3.5. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to also take the under on that. And I agree with Vegas on the money line. It's not much, but if you're willing to bet it, you can make a few dollars off of that. If you wouldn't be too bad.
That's where my money going this week. This the one game all week I'm putting money on Vegas to win this game. So
you're telling everybody to bet 600.
That's
what you're telling them.
Yeah, 600 pennies. Yeah. Yeah, man. But I think ultimately the Chargers are a team that put an asterisk by the Chargers. I really do think that it's always a couple teams that kind of make some headway in the AFC. It's the Chargers with me. In the NFC, I was kind of going the Cardinals route. I think the Cardinals are a team you got to kind of watch out for this year. So,
All right. So our team is 0-1 heading into a big time grudge match against Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears tomorrow afternoon at 1:00 p.m. It's gonna be electric in there, and we will be back, of course, after that game. Well, probably not tomorrow night, but we will be back Monday to hopefully break down the Detroit Lions victory, because if we have to break down the Detroit Lions loss heading into Baltimore, um, the content's gonna get ugly around this city. So till next time, everybody, enjoy your Saturday. Lions Avenue, one pride.